All right. So here is another one of my favorite tools. I'm actually showing you all of my favorite tools today. So it's kind of like in top 4 or 5. So Marbleism. Again, it's not my tool. I just love this tool, but very useful. So imagine what we used to do without AI. If we wanted to create content for our pages or our clients, we would use Canva to design something, then download. Then we would use Hootsuite or Buffer to schedule it. But this tool with simple commands, simple prompts, now does everything for you. And they call them AI employees. So you have an executive assistant, SEO blog writer, legal assistant, receptionist, and I'll show you some of the things that we use this tool for. So let me log in. You're gonna see like my account, and the first thing that you do once you make an account, you add your brand here. So you'll notice here I've added like several different brands, and it's brand. You may if you're managing your pages in your business, you may be just one brand. But for someone like me, we manage multiple different clients. So that's why they're different like workspaces. They call them workplace spaces or different brands here. But here's the powerful thing. You see all of your employees here. And today, this video, I want to show you there's employee Sony, who's a social media manager. So what I told Sony, you see all this brand is about like it's a food page. So I told Sony, I found this example on Pinterest, on other pages, and liked that idea. I wanted to make this. So without AI employee, we would have to use Canva, spend a lot of time, find images, write text, spend probably hours to make some graphics like this. But here I just simply said, hey, Sony, analyze this image and then make 20 graphics that are similar. And then there's some other details. I said, make one first, let me review, and then we'll make the 19. Because imagine if you had like an employee or intern, that's the type of thing you will tell him, right? Hey, go do this task. If this is the first time you're doing it, let me review the very first image you create. And once that's good, you can create all the other ones. So it took that simple instruction and then it created, look, very interesting, like a graphic for me. And again, this brand is like a food page. We share a lot of like food related infographics, memes, because that does really well on this page. And then once I said, okay, this is good, make all 19s. Look, it made all in one go. I didn't do anything. You can see right here. I just said, okay, great. I like the first one. Now go make all the 19s. So if I had to make all 20 in Canva, or I had to use an employee, or sometimes we use like consultants or virtual assistant from Fiverr, it would take a while. It would take like a few hours here, few minutes, everything done. Not just that. Once that was done, I said, okay, now schedule these at 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. starting tomorrow. And this was done like a few weeks ago. And then it was able to schedule everything for me. And then if I go to the post tab, you could see it was posting everything, schedule everything based on what I said. So now again, step back. It's literally if you had an employee you would tell them to go make it. And then if you liked it, you would say, okay, this is good, make more. And then you tell them to go schedule it. So this tool is doing everything based on your command, based on your instruction. So it's Canva plus social media scheduler all into one. And if you see, if I make it big, you'll see actually these are really cool graphics. These are not like a just AI slop. And if let me see, I might be able to show you this page. They actually do create a lot of engagement. So this is the page. It's a small page, 17K followers. And you'll notice like some of these right here, they'll have like look, 23 comments. So really like good. All of these were made using Sony, 40 comments, right? So pretty good engagement depending on based on the size of that page. That 17K in bigger scheme of Facebook, it's very minimal. And that's just like one of their employees. There's a blog writer. Similarly, you'll tell him for this brand, we're not using blog writer, but let's say you just give it commands and it will go create the blog for you. I might be able to show you. I'm going to switch the brand or workspaces.
I'd love to
Let's see.
know, Ali, while you're doing that. When you're talking, so say, for example, you had a personal brand, which I know you do, and then say, for example, you had a client brand, which is, say, the cooking brand. How long per week would it take you to make the content for either of those things? So, for a personal brand, how long would it take to make the content these days for a week, and how long for a business brand? And also, how many pieces of content are you putting out a day for either example?
So To answer, so for personal brand, I do have like multiple. So there's a brand that you see with my face on it, but then there's a faceless brand with AI. So I do have like multiple the brands. But if I had to estimate, it probably takes me an hour or 2 hours for 2 days of content. Because what I do is, let's say if it's Monday, I create content on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. On Mondays, I'll create content for Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesdays, I create content for Wednesdays and Thursdays. And for me, it's a little bit different because my brand is about AI, and you know how fast AI moves. So there's a lot of things changing. But if you have a cooking brand, if you have real estate, if you're an insurance agent, the things might not be changing as much. So personally, for me, I'm spending 1 to 2 hours every day to create like 48 hours worth of content because AI just changes so much. For clients, actually, it's less than an hour something because you can see this right here on this, for example, this page. We do create reels, so that's separate. But to create all of this content for 1 week worth of content, it took us about 10 minutes. The example I showed you. The first thing I told it, I give it an example. Let's say, make me 20. And I reviewed first, then I made me 20, then I said schedule. So it took us less than 10 minutes to schedule like one week worth of content. So for business brands, it takes very little time. For personal brand, just because of the fact that my brand is AI, every single day there are like at least 20, 30 new AI tools. And I do want to like jump on those, see, study those, test those, so I'm able to use it and do video sessions like this. So for my personal brand, it takes a little bit more time. I know like I said a lot of different things. Did I answer your question?
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.